collection capacity of local government, and increase strategic planning, local management, and internal organization of local administration. Vice President Mahama said, apart from providing infrastructure in the pilot areas, the project will also help streamline the haphazard planning of major cities of the country and avoid perennial waste and poor sanitary conditions. He announced that the project, which would be executed within 5 years, would be replicated in other cities after successful implementation in the pilot cities. Vice President Mahama called on the beneficiary cities to make judicious use of the resources to encourage their development partners to support other projects. He appealed to market women in the whole municipality who allegedly demonstrated against government for failing to provide them with a modern market to exercise restraint and rally behind government to successfully implement the GUMPP, which will include an ultra-modern market in the area. Mr. Fort Kamel, Volta Regional Minister, said that the whole University for Science and Allied Health Sciences will enroll the first batch of students in September this year, and that government was taking the necessary measures for its smooth takeoff. He said the establishment of the university will not only benefit the people of the region, but the entire country and the West African sub-region, and call for support so the government could achieve its goal. Yeah, so this is in brief the press statement released by the Office of the Vice President, captured at the official website of the Presidency of Ghana. We have on the line joining us is Mr. Hope Nyaveji, who is the Deputy Regional Youth Organizer of the Volta region, the NDC. He's going to tell us briefly what really transpired in Ho when His Excellency, the Vice President, was there. Do we have Hope on the line? Hello, Hope. Hello? Hello?
Yes, I'm online, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Hope.
Fine evening, sir.
Yeah, how are you doing, Hope?
I'm managing by His grace.
Yeah, we thank God. I hope the Better Ghana agenda is moving on smoothly with our people in the Volta region.
Oh, yes, yes, exactly.
Okay. His Excellency, the Vice President, was in the region with you. That was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And then he came to commission a 40.5 million euro urban management project. How did the people of the Volta region receive His Excellency, the Vice President?
Oh, in fact, it was a great day and a history in the side of Volta region. Because we've never experienced anything like that. Government will give a promise by fulfilling it for everybody to see. Actually, the Vice President came and as promised by government, they have fulfilled it by showing the sign, and everybody was happy. Okay. They have received the Vice President so much. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now let's begin with the issue of the market. The Vice President appealed to the women who allegedly demonstrated some time ago about the market situation. And then now the 40.5 million urban management project is going to be launched. Speaking with some of the market women after the program, what indication did you get? Are the people happy about this project? They are happy. They are happy because it has been their headache for so long a time now. And that this time around that the government has come to their aid of responding to their request, they are so much happy. And they have shown it to everybody to see on the ground yesterday. The Volta region is considered, your region, the Volta region, is considered as the support base, the World Bank, that is as it has been referred to, of the NDC administration. And then for now, major issues including the Eastern Corridor Road, the University of Allied Health Sciences, many schools under trees, new hospitals, clinics, and all these projects that the government has executed so far within the last 3 years. Now that this project has been launched to be replicated in Kumasi, Tamale, Sekandik, Takrady, and Ho, as to start with the support. How do you think that these projects, as I've mentioned earlier, are going to help galvanize the support base of the party and win the president's second term in the upcoming elections? Yes, on the side of the Eastern Corridor, it has been a cry for all those people who live in that area, especially on the Eastern Corridor area. And in fact, I happened to have the opportunity to go around with the National Youth Organizer to inspect how far they are going about the construction. Okay. And to my surprise, when you see even the machines on ground, you realize what they are going to give us will be even more better than what we are expecting from the government. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. And on the side of the university, everybody can see, even if you go to Ho today, around the Trafalgar, the regional hospital, the buildings are there to start the university.
Okay.
Whilst the main campus will be on progress any moment from now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now you are the deputy youth organizer of the NDC in the Volta region, together with your colleagues Sheki and then Maxwell. How do you intend to continue to educate your people, the people of the Volta region, continue to sell this whole idea of the urban management project to the people, so that at least the people in the region will continue to see the good works that His Excellency the President is doing in the Volta region?
Yes, as I speak to you now, there is a program that we are going to have with the team on the 18th of this month. Precisely, it's going to be funded by Hope Poly Auditorium.
Okay.
And the break behind this program is to highlight on all the actions being taken by the government.
Okay.
All the developmental projects, ongoing, completed ones. In fact, it's like people are lost information, and we are organizing this program to educate people and to give them more information about what the government is doing so far for the region.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. On this note, let me say thank you to you, Hope, and then to your colleagues, Sheki and Maxwell, for the good work that you are doing in the region. And we expect that very soon we will have you on this program, Majority Caucus, so you can educate us the more with all that is happening in the Volta region. Let me also wish you the best for successfully finishing and completing the biometric registration exercise. Have a good evening, Hope. Today we are considering the 40.5 million euro urban management project that was launched by His Excellency Vice President John Dramani Mahama. And then briefly we heard Hope Nyaveji, who is the Deputy Youth Organizer of the NDC in the Volta region. Yeah, Wanda, what can you say briefly, generally, about the launch of this project?
Well, I believe that this is a confirmation of the I Care for You agenda that has been put together by the NDC-led government. And for me, I am impressed. I think that these are promises that we have made to Ghanaians, that we are beginning to show again that there is hope. There is hope because if you see the way our cities are planned, if you see the challenges of the city, of the urban environment, you will observe that there are a lot of things that are competing with growth. And some of them are sanitation, like you see sometimes, occasionally you see outbreak of some diseases, like even energy. You talk about energy in the city. I mean, use of energy and all that in the city. That is also a problem. Health is a problem. Education is a problem. And many other issues that, tend to compete with the individual in his or her attempt to grow have become a challenge over time. And I think that the deficits of our planning, the deficit of our inadequacy of planning over the years have culminated in a lot of issues, a lot of things happening. Meanwhile, as government tries to put together the economic environment, there are many other issues, like the social issues tend to eventually erode the progress that is being made at the economic front and all that. So for me, the launch of this program is actually a step in the right direction. We have to pat the back of government for doing such a very wonderful project. And we also have to congratulate His Excellency the President for taking that bold initiative. I know a lot of governments have run away from this many a time, but if you see within the 3 years that we have been at the seat of governance of this country, the reformation, the roads infrastructure, the traffic lights, the street lights, the hospitals that are coming up, and the planning, and how that we're today beginning to take care of flooding and all that, and even looking at the facility that was secured by the President when he went to the US, over the planning, taking care of the storm drains and all that. For me, as a person and as a Ghanaian, I think that I'm impressed. I'm happy for the President, and I think that he's living the dream for which Ghanaians are.
The Vice President mentioned that currently we have over 50.3 population dwelling in cities, and then in the next by the year 2030 is expected to expand to about 60%. And then with these projects that are coming in, do you see this as foresight as to how to alleviate some of these problems that are caused by expanding cities and expanding rural urban communities in coming years?
Fairly, certainly yes. We all know the challenges of development, the challenges of growth, the challenges of urbanization, the challenges of migration and all that. And we've been talking about all these, every government has been talking about all this rural urban migration and all that over the years. But nothing concrete has been done in such directions, except for few roads that are being put together to link maybe the south to the north, or the north to the south, or the west to the east, and all that. We've seen some of those things happening, but I think that this actually is a way to focus what is likely to happen in the future. If you look at the provisional figures that was put out by the Ghana Statistical Service during the housing and population census, figures, you will observe a trend. The trend is that most of our cities are getting overly populated.
Exactly.
And they're getting overly populated because of bread and butter issues. People are beginning to think that it is only in the city that they can make it. But I think that with this project, when you are able to decentralize the city management project kind of a thing, then who can be part of the cities for people to move to. You don't have to come to Accra. Ashanti can be one of them, or Kumasi can be one of them. If you go to Takoradi, can be one of them. And the many others, Cape Coast and all that, can be cities, of the same standard and repute as Accra. So people don't have to necessarily move to Accra and get the whole place congested. If you look at what happened in Nigeria, for instance, the reason for which they had to take the capital from Lagos to Abuja basically has to do with the population surge and the development challenges they were having, and that they could not virtually have any environment to develop their country any longer because everybody was moving down south, and I think that was a problem for Nigeria. And we can take a cue from what Nigeria did. Today, if you go to Abuja, it is a very beautiful city. You see the high-rising flying, high-flying skyscrapers and all that. You see all the facilities, the amenities, everything is getting better on course than it used to be in Lagos. And I think that this is a project that I laud as a Ghanaian and also as a member of the NDC. Members of the NDC, as well as Ghanaians, should be proud, should be excited at this project, because it is not just a project to get votes. It's a project that will serve the national interest, that will serve the collective interest as a Ghanaian. I mean, for we as Ghanaians. And I think that it's a project in the right direction.
Focus have been made on the essence of provision of social amenities. That's the main focus of the matter. The crux of the matter is the provision of social amenities, electricity, water, sewage system, drainage, and all that. Do you think this will have a positive impact upon the development of those cities themselves?
Fairly certainly, yes. Go to some of the supposed slums in Accra. You will observe that majority of them, of the houses, don't even have places of convenience. And so for me, I'm not seeing this as one of those projects that will just come and go. I'm seeing it as a real revolution in our infrastructure, a real revolution in our social setting, a real revolution in our economic, even in our economic factors. For instance, you go to a lot of our markets in Accra, they don't even have places of convenience.
That's true.
Even if they do, you either go there to take another kind of disease or infection kind of. So for me, I think that it's a step in the right direction. It is actually to solve a particular challenge, and that challenge has to do with the development gap, has to do with our social gap, has to do with our economic gaps as well. And I think that it's something I dove my heart out to the president and his vice and the whole team of governance for what they have done.
The Volta Regional Minister
is one of the unprecedented achievements of the government. Yeah.
The Volta Regional Minister, Ford Kamel, reiterated a point that by September this year, admissions will be made into the University of Health and Allied Sciences in Ho. Is it the case that he's overemphasizing the point, or you are actually ready? The government is actually ready to take this project to the next level?
Felix, government has been ready ever since the first time we made this promise. But you see, there are a lot of technicalities you have to go through, like passing the bill and all that. Felix, don't forget I was a former NUCS president, so at least I was part of the consultation team that did the review of the University of Ghana Act, the current one. And I can tell you the challenges it goes through, the various views that you have to collate, how you have to put things together and make sure that you're not putting a rubber stamp kind of an institution out there. This is a public institution that is going to have an international repute, and you have to do all the background work and all that. And so there have been processes. What I did not like, or what I did not agree with is the opposition members, the MPP guys, who felt that we have made a promise and that we were going to renege on our promise, and we're making the noise. Today, I think they have to revise their notes.
They are running for cover, actually.
Yes, they have to revise their notes, and they're running for cover. Why am I saying this? That's last year we thought that government was going to take people on. Now, for me, that would have been a very good thing, but Again, do you just want to do something for votes? No, that's not what we're doing. And I think that Atamos has, over time, made the point that it is not only about votes. I am not doing this because you have voted for me. I'm not doing it because I'm president of Ghana. I'm doing it because I owe it as a duty to Ghana, first and foremost, to make sure that the future generations that we're going to have later will benefit from it. So it's not a knee-jerk approach. It's not just, a token you just want to put out there just because you want to win votes. Yes, we are aware that the voter regime is our World Bank. That nobody can dispute. And also, because of that basis, we don't want to do something that another government comes tomorrow and throw it off. Okay. So that's why the process has been this challenging. But I think the government has stand the test, and I think it's fine. It's good. If you look at the number of young ones who are itching to go to university, as I was coming to your studio, I was listening to how that health assistant, those who want to go to health, training institutions, the grade points have been reviewed, and a lot of them can't go to school. Okay. And if you see what is happening, the frustration around that level, you will always want to salute the president for this particular university, University of Health and Allied Sciences, because that would have
give access to more people to be trained.
It opens up the access.
I wonder, from the whole program, His Excellency the Vice President, John Dramani Mahama, assured the good people of Ghana that the government is not going to sit aside and watch any individual or a group of people extinct, kill, or destroy any tribe. And government is assuring the people of the Volta region and the people of the Greater Accra region, in the light of the explosive Kennedy Japan tribal and genocidal comments, that government is going to protect every group of persons in Ghana. And the Vice President went ahead to thank the people of the region, the Volta region and the Greater Accra region, for remaining calm and exercising so much restraint in the face of such naked provocation. Do you think that call was in the right direction?
Felix, I think that was one of the most perfect comments, one of the most perfect assurances, one of the most perfect stand to take as a president of any country, if any segment of your populace is under threat. Okay. Listen, a lot of people have made their counter arguments, and I think that is vague. Why is it vague? For instance, a group of people have been marked out to be killed. A group of people have been marked out to be annihilated. A group of people have been marked out to be lynched, so to say. And you think that the president goes to these people who, one way or the other, without any cause of action, have been provocated. You think that you just go and just pass by like many others did and dole out money and just walk out of the place? No, that's unfortunate. I think that what the Vice President did was the best option. It was the best way of assuring the people that you're still on top of security. Don't forget, the Vice President is supposed to be the chairman of the Police Council. Exactly so. And so, for him, what he did was actually the response that even the police gave, that they gave the assurance that they were in charge of situations. Even Kennedy Japan himself came out to say that he has seen that the police people are able and can do the job.
Because of the warm reception he was given while he was there.
I mean, he says he had a warm reception. And I think that goes out to defeat the argument that we're just trying to catch him and do something to him. But I know that. So for me, what the Vice President said was in order. It's perfect. In any case, Nana Addo went to the same region just a day or two before the Vice President went there. What is his assurance? When he was asked about how that some group of Ghanaians that you want to lead tomorrow have been marked out to be, lynched and all that, or killed and maimed and all that, what did he say? He said the case is in court. You're talking about human life. Human life, no matter how small they are still human life. They carry the same value, same blood flow through their veins. The blood that flows through Nana Addo's veins, the same blood that flows through the people of the Volta region, the same blood that flows through the people of the Ghana community. And I think that one of the things he should have done was to say that, for me, I am committed to this, and I believe that whatever said was wrong. But he doesn't have the moral courage.
You expected an outright condemnation from Nana Addo?
Of course I did. We did. We're all expecting. I mean, I'm an ever. And so you'll expect that comment actually affects me. It affects me directly. Why does it affect me directly? Because I have not done anything to provoke the people of the Ashanti region. And I don't think that I deserve that kind of a treatment if it has to happen. And so it was unfortunate for Kennedy Japan to make that kind of assertion and comment and inciting the public and declaring war and all that. That was punishable enough. So for me, I was expecting Nana Addo to show leadership. For him to show control, to show some level of dexterity in managing the affairs of his own campaign team. And that was unfortunate.
In the past, aren't you asking for too much from Nana Addo? Because in the past, Nana Addo himself had made the all die be die comment. Right in front of him, his youth organizer, Anthony Kabo, talked about Ghana turn into Afghanistan if the elections were not called in his favor. At Manchiagbona, Kenajepo outrightly insulted the president. Anthony Cabo said they will lynch the police. And all kinds of things were said before him and things that he has heard. Till date, he hasn't condemned any of those things. Don't you think that we are asking for too much from Nana Addo?
Well, it's not as if we are asking. We in the NDC don't want an apology for him because we know that Nana Addo lacks the moral courage to condemn Kennedy Japan. Hey, don't forget, Kennedy Japan is the bankroller. Okay. And to Nana Addo wouldn't want to condemn Kennedy Japan for anything because then the cash won't come. Two, he lacks the moral courage because he himself is actually made worse comments than that. As a leader, I think that he should have measured his comments. He should have measured his public discussions and public statements that he makes. But I think that is unfortunate. He has not been able to do it. Till date, he will never do it. And Nana Addo, of course, if you look at the disposition of Nana Addo, he's not the type that says sorry. I mean, we've seen several cases in the past. And I want to refer you, time past, in the days of the NDC, during the Nanumba and the Kokumba war, you remember one NDC MP actually went out to make some derogatory comment. It wasn't even derogatory. He only said that Ukuma Apimbaba, which means if you kill 1,000 of the cucumbers, another 1,000 will come. And we in the NDC felt that that was too much below the belt. We felt it was inciting the public. We felt that it was not right. We felt that the comment was not nationalistic. It wasn't patriotic enough. We felt that the comment was insulting to the integrity of the NDC as a party and to Ghanaians as a whole. What did we do? We outrightly suspended him. And as such, from suspending, we actually suspended him from the party. That is what we're expecting people like Nana Addo or who leads a political party, who belongs to one of the largest political parties without argument to make. And I think that he should be right on point. It doesn't cost anything to say that, no, you're sorry for this. For instance, when Obama's one of his ministers embarrassed him, what did he do? He asked him to step aside. Tony Blair, he did the same thing when he came to David Cameron. He asked him to step aside. Anytime you're managing a political organization like the MPP or the NDC or anywhere in the world, you are supposed to be on top of the issues. You are supposed to make sure that there is that level of decency in comments, in pronouncements, in assertions, and even in presentations. And that's why we are worried. I'm worried as a Ghanaian, not because I'm an NDC member. I'm worried as a Ghanaian that comment was detrimental to the growth of this country. You remember that it took a lot of effort over the years to get Ghana to be united. Exactly. Efforts like having the boarding system, efforts like making sure that you have tribes in other places. Today you can go to Ashanti and find towns that are named after Evers and all that. And so those were some strides that were made to actually put this country together. And Addo shouldn't think overnight that just because you want power, just because you want to rule this country, just because oil has been found in this country, and you think that it is time to amass wealth for your country, for yourself and for your political party, you can do anything and get away with it. I think it's unfortunate. And that is what we're expecting that he should condemn. Sir John also makes the lame argument.
Yeah, he says that the vice president was rather stoking the fire.
Well, Sir John is always, anytime I hear the name Sir John, I smile and I laugh. Why do I laugh? I laugh because sometimes he makes comments that doesn't measure up to himself. We see him as a lawyer. He's a lawyer, right? We see him as a lawyer, a respectable one, of course. So sometimes you are expecting that he makes comments that are measured, by his profession, because in those environments we expect a lot from them, and I think that sometimes he should take a step back and listen to himself and make the right points, so that Ghanaians don't always have to ridicule him.
But wonder, coming back again, in the past, during the 8 years regime of President Kufuor, one of the most striking and disappointing features in the time was the cocaine. The cocaine trade. The leadership of the MPP, Nana Addo himself, did not find it worthy to condemn the upsurge of the drug trade back in the days. You remember when 44 or so Ghanaians were murdered in the Gambia? He did not do anything concrete. It took the vice president to conclude that deal. Again, one of our people was incarcerated in Libya, who was supposed to be hanged. And then Nana Addo, by then, foreign minister by then, did not take any action to save the life of the person. It took the vice president again to go back to Libya to negotiate for the release of that gentleman up to date. So do you think that Nana Addo himself, he has that conviction? He has that conviction, to condemn wrongdoing on any front of our socio-political landscape?
Fellas, in each of the instances that you've mentioned, I can tell you the lines that reach to them.
Okay.
And it's unfortunate. We've been expecting sometimes I think we expect a lot from Nanado, and he's always falling short of the expectations, even within his own political, grouping. Now, Nanado himself, by his poacher, remember when the Cote d'Ivoire crisis was on?
Yeah, so
what was the advice of the MPP?
We should use force. We should go to war.
Now, remember in the days of Nkrumah how that they were trying to get him out of office. What means did they use?
They were throwing bombs.
Yeah, so you understand. So you can see that the political ideology or psychology with which they operate does not allow for peace. I mean, they are not expecting that to happen. That's why when they were in power, we've had taxi drivers asked to bath dead bodies. I mean, in the mortuary, 37 mortuary, were asked. Taxi drivers were. I mean,
but they believe in the rule of law.
Of course,
asking taxi drivers to bath and kiss dead bodies.
It is one
doesn't that fall within the rule of law?
It is one thing saying that you believe in the rule of law. It's another thing living the painful experience of the rule of law. For instance, let me give you a very clear example. In Chachu Chikeda's case, when they lost the case 1, 2, 3, what did they do? They packed the Supreme Court because they have to win at all costs. Yeah. Is that rule of law? Is that the belief in the rule of justice? Is that the belief in the rule of the majority and goodwill and governance and all that? That's not. So sometimes, yes, it's one thing to put it out there, I believe in this, I believe in it. How about doing it? How about the actions? And when you see the likes of President John Vincent Tamus leaving the actions, even when his government is embarrassed in court as a result of some gerrymandering and trying to, destroy cases and all that, at the end of the day, he smiles and says, well, we believe in Ghana, we believe in the rule of law, we still have to go ahead, we still have to forge ahead. That is the kind of leadership we're expecting. Don't forget, in the case of Boku, have we seen any sign of the MPP in the days to show that they really love the people of Boku, to go out there and go and tell them who don't fight and all that? We saw it even in the Volta region, in Angola, for instance. People died in the wars and in all the civil strife within those environments. What did we see? I thought if Nanado he knew that he was going to, except that he just conceived the idea, if he knew he was going to be president all this while, he should have shown some level of peacefulness within
but he said
himself.
Recently that the president should show the way and he will follow.
Yeah, so the president is beginning to show the way. So what's the complaint?
Yeah.
You would say that the president should show the way. The president has now gone to visit the people who are affected by your comment. People you said they should die, they should be killed because they don't vote for you and all that. The president has now gone there in the capacity of his vice to say that, hey, listen, I applaud your patience. I applaud your ability to contain all these facts. Government is resolute in keeping the peace. Government will protect you at all costs and all that. And you think that this is wrong? Okay, so at one point they want this, at another point they shift the goalpost. Okay. And that is
Let's go for a short break. I wonder, what do you think is the MPP's motivation for all the hula baloo and all the skirmishes that are ongoing now on the political landscape?
Felix, to be honest with you, I want to give you a startling revelation. Yeah. And this is my personal opinion, and I believe strongly, looking at the trend, how they wanted us to talk about the Cote d'Ivoire crisis, how they wanted us to intervene militarily, how when the Libyan crisis came, and the many others, the uprisings and all that has to do with against government and all that, and presidents and all that. I believe, looking at the trend, that the MPP is deliberately doing all this noise, making all this noise, so that just in case the results don't go in their favor. Looking at Anthony Kabo's statement, if we don't win Afghanistan, they are doing all this so that if the results don't come out favorable for them, they can dispute the results. That's all. I see. That's all the motivation is about.
But when we consider the Economic Intelligence Unit report 2012, there's a portion. The MPP accuses the NDC of rigging biometric registration. And I'll just read portions of the report. It says that despite a call for political parties to avoid inflammatory remarks and unfounded accusations, the opposition MPP has been busily accusing the ruling NDC of attempting to rig the December elections through manipulating the biometric voter registration exercise that began in late March. Ghana's voter registration is being updated for the 2012 elections using biometric registration, which should greatly improve the quality of the register. While the opposition CPP has voiced faith in the biometric registration process, the MPP accused the NDC of planning to register minors to boost its numbers, as well as ordering its supporters to intimidate MPP members who attempt to register. This type of attack on the registration process before it has even got up to the full speed is worrying, symptomatic of the tenor of politics in the country at the moment. Such accusations without proof threaten to undermine public confidence in the election results and lay the grounds for post-election attacks by the MPP should it lose the election. If this type of rhetoric continues over the coming months, the legitimacy of the election result will be at risk regardless of whether the polls were free and fair, as so many doubts are being sworn within the elections beforehand. So I think this fits directly into your argument that they want to prepare the grounds to reject the result.
Yes, I've been vindicated. You see the posture. So they are doing all this because they want to. There's an agenda. That grand agenda is to dispute the results.
Okay.
But God willing, I believe and I strongly believe the Ghanaians will reject them come 2012 December. So
okay, let me go to the phone lines now and allow our viewers to be part of this discussion. You can call us down on 0302 211 701 or 0302 211 702 and be part of the discussion. And as I always advise, our comments must be devoid of any ethnic, tribal, or religious undertones. And let's keep this discussion very educative and very informative. Yeah, back to you, Wanda. I've been going through the New African magazine published in May 2012, and then page 60, which talks about the African Capacity Index. For the first time, the index puts Ghana at number 1 out of 44 other countries. I think, yeah, out of 42 other countries in the African Capacity Index. And if I may read portions of the report, it says that Ghana's achievement is a marked improvement from 2011, where no countries were classified in the high category, says the ACBF. Okay, we have a first caller from Boga. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, my brother. Your comments?
Yeah, my comment is that thank you for your job done. But looking at the topic that you people brought, 40 million euro urban management, and look at what you are saying, it doesn't tell it. We don't understand what people are doing there. But let's just go back to what people are discussing with regards to what Nana Addo went to the water region and said, and what John Mahama said. You see, don't forget, John Mahama made the statement as if that when they can talk about the inciting people, as if people reacted. You see, sometimes leadership is also important. John Mahama should have shown a leadership by even going to the Ashanti region or the account, telling them that for not reacting because they incited them, they didn't act. That was a commendable decision.
All right, thank you. Okay, all right, thank you very much. But let me assure you that all the issues that we are discussing here were issues that came up during His Excellency the Vice President's visit to the Volta region. And if you've been following the news yesterday, the focus extensively had been on what His Excellency John Mahama said at the Volta region about assuring the airways and the guns about government protection. So everything that is being discussed here is within the context of what happened in Ho yesterday.
Yeah, the caller should have, shown that he's a Ghanaian. He should have asked Nana Addo to show the same leadership.
Okay, let me just complete the report. It says, coming 8 months before the crucial national elections in Ghana in December 2012, the ACI result will gladden the hearts of President Mills. Mills is running for a second term, and Ghana was number 5 in last year's rankings, which were based on 2009 to 2010 performance, but did so well in 2011 to jump to number 1 position in 2012. We've had another caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, your comments?
Yeah, my name is Bijabo Ahmed. I'm calling from Atlantic, Bolga.
Okay.
I guess your topic for discussion this morning is 40 million euro urban management project, right? That is what I saw on my telly. Surprisingly, if one listens to you, there's the two of you guys in the studio, there, one would get confused because instead of you discussing the text that you put up today for people to listen, you are not doing so. But you are rather discussing Nanado.
We are not discussing Nanado. We are not discussing Nanado.
Nanado is not the issue here.
Yeah, we are not discussing Nanado.
Hello?
Yeah, let me correct. Let me correct you. Let me correct you before you proceed. The issues that are being discussed here are issues that arose during His Excellency the Vice President's visit to the Volta region as part of the project to commission the 40.5 million euro urban management project. So everything that has been discussed here fits into context. You can proceed now.
Okay, if I can continue, let me tell you something. Hello? I want to say that the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, is first gave him notoriety for his
I'm sorry, I'll take you offline. Thank you very much for calling, and I will not tolerate any form. Yeah, it's obvious that from after speaking, he's laughing because he's very much aware of the indiscipline he wants to bring upon this program, and I would discourage. And I'll discourage anybody from deliberately trying to throw all kinds of dirty issues on this program. We will not tolerate it on this program, and I will encourage our callers to continue to be very, very useful to the discussions on this forum. Yeah, Wanda, if you want to make some intervention.
Yeah, no, a few people were asked about Ghana's current ranking, and one of them is Dr. Lutier from Tanzania, and she said something very important. She said Ghana has done two things right. One, building capacity, and then implementing. Okay. And so for me, I think that actually fits perfectly into our development agenda. If you look at the Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda document, 2010 to 2030. Yes, you will observe that as part of that document is capacity building, and I think that government has stayed put to that document. We have stayed put to that plan, and the results are beginning to show that we have stayed put to that plan. I think it's fantastic. It's one of the achievements of the Mills government that is laudable, and we have to commend it, because it's one thing ruling a country and then leaving after office. People don't have the capacity to move on, and you need to leave a footprint, and that footprint should take the people on. If after the demise of a leader everything crumbles, then you're not a leader. You're supposed to imbibe your leadership credentials in others to take on and to see how best they can also live within that context, because you won't live forever. The people who hail as leaders of big leaders and all that are not living today, but other people who have been able to build their capacity, who have been prepared for the challenges of today, are saying to it that things are okay today. And so for me, I think...
Okay, we have another call on the line. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, your name and your comments?
Yeah, this is Abu calling from the Atlantic.
Okay.
The same guy.
And good evening to your listeners over there.
We are guests in the studio.
I'm very disappointed in you people.
Okay.
What am I saying this? That's why you are making enough adults popular every day. But all you come from topic, you leave the topic, you now is discussing that. Vice President have the capacity. Go to voter region and tell the voter region people that the affection that they have, and they didn't ask about the problem. But if you choose to tell the Muslims that my MP, I know what the MP said, the Muslims that the Christians should not have against Muslims.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hello, Abu. Hello, Abu. Hello, Abu. Abu, will you listen to me? Abu, will you listen to me? If you wouldn't listen, I'll take you off the line. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to take Abu off the line at this point, and I've always warned that I wouldn't accept and allow any religious strife and tribal strife on this program, and I think, and it's interesting that they are all calling from the same base.
There's one trend. I think the MPP is very, very worried at this moment as to how that their leader has failed them. And you see in the call, all the callers calling in, they just want to push a particular agenda, and that agenda has always been violence. See, we're doing a very civil discussion. You call into the program. One of the things you do is to speak in a very civil manner, but then making all these allegations, condemning one and then leaving the other.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even yesterday, whilst I was going home and I was listening to some of the news reports from the Volta region, that some of the media houses seem to have set aside the 40.5 million projects that the vice president actually went to do and over-focused on what the vice president was supposed to have said about the ethnic and tribal sentiments.
And as a matter of fact, Sir John's statement was the lead story. Yeah. It's in Sir John's statement that you will read what the vice president went to do in the voter region. So we need to put the information out there.
Yeah. I mean, and correct the wrong information and the impression that is being peddled.
The vice president doesn't have time for Sir John. He doesn't have time for Nanado. He doesn't have time.
Yeah, but I think it's refreshing that the vice president himself will continue to assure the people of Ghana about security, because it's a very important aspect of social and economic growth.
I told you I'm a Votarian. When this comment was made, I felt that I was threatened. I felt threatened, and I think that the vice president did the right thing. It was obvious that he has been on top of government business all this while. What he has said is perfectly right. It's okay to assure your people. In any case, what is wrong if you assure your people that, hey, your security is still at stake? I'm still prepared to do everything in my power to make sure that you have safety in this country. What is wrong?
Let me take a few reviews, and then before we go, we have less than 1 minute to go. Let's a few review from the IMF boss, Christine Lagarde. She says the IMF boss commended President Mills for his personal engagement and the government's economic team for good fiscal policies that has engendered a strong path for rapid economic growth. From the World Bank, it says, the World Bank has indicated that Ghana remains on track as it recorded significant progress in all aspects of the economy. A recent World Bank report has indicated that in 2011, Ghana was the fastest growing economy in the world with a single-digit inflation and declining interest rates to the lowest level in 4 decades. From the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, he says, and I quote, the UN is prepared to provide all the support we can to make Ghana remain a beacon of democracy, peace and stability, and you can count on us. And he added, I admire your leadership qualities and support your quest to build a better Ghana. This is from Ban Ki-moon. And from President Obama, he says, Ghana has proven, I think, to be a model for Africa in terms of its democratic practices. And I very much appreciate the efforts that President Mills has taken not only to ensure free and fair elections, but also to root out corruption, increase transparency, and make sure that government is working for the people of Ghana and not just for the few. In addition, Ghana has become a wonderful success story economically on the continent because of the initiatives of President Mills. We've also seen high growth rates, and it fits into the New African magazine perfectly.